Oh! Isn't that like almost all of them?
No.
Oh, good thing you guys came in for help this morning. Number 1, go to your room. What does the word equidistant mean? That means the distances are. Okay, I will set it up for you. Here is a point 2 comma k. It is equidistant from 9 comma 2 and 1 comma 6. I'm not going to even bother. These two distances have to be equal. So how do you find the distance between here and here? It rhymes with distance formula. You use the distance formula. So that's the square root of 49 plus k minus 2 squared. And then how do you find the distance between these two? It's the square root of 1 plus k minus 6 squared. And equidistant means the distances are equal. And then you just solve that equation. It's just algebra 1. You guys can take it from there without fumbling, right? Just square both sides, or do you need me to do the algebra? I need to do the algebra. Okay, look. 49 plus k squared minus 4k plus 4 equal 1 plus k squared minus 12k plus 36. Oh, the k squareds cancel out! And so you're going to have 8k is equal to, what is that, 37 minus 54. What did I just say? 53. What's 53 minus 37? You gotta be joking. 53 minus 37. 16. Divide by 8, k equal negative 2. Finished. That's just simple algebra. Equidistant means equidistance. Number 2. What? Okay, number 2. That's okay, we're being videoed, so all the other classes can learn from your mistakes. Find the coordinates of a point P on the x-axis. Now, how do you label a point that's on the x-axis? Something, comma, 0. What do you want to call that letter? P. P. Yeah, you can call it P. It's kind of bizarre, though. I was thinking A,
Okay, I
but
guess we do that too.
whatever letter you want. How about put a happy face? So that it is 13 units from this point right here. So the distance between these 2 points is 13. So what do you think I'm going to do? It rhymes with distance formula. You use the distance formula. The square root is a plus 3 quantity squared plus 25 is equal to 13, and then just solve that equation. You guys can take it from there. It's a quadratic equation, so there's going to be 2 answers. I think you guys can take it from there. Number 3, show that these 3 lines are concurrent. Well, now, what does concurrent mean? The 3 lines are concurrent. That means they all intersect at the same point. In fact, I told you what they meant. Okay, so what you do is find the intersection of 2 of the lines. Now, which 2 lines do you want to find the intersection of? It doesn't matter. 1 and 2, 2 and 3, or 1 and 3. Pick one. Pick one of those.
1 and 3.
Okay, 1 and 3. So here's 1. X plus 3y equal 19. Here's line number 3. X minus 2y equal 4. How did my algebra 1 teacher teach me how to find where 2 lines intersect? You line them up and either use addition subtraction method. What do you think in this case if you want to cancel out one of the variables? It rhymes with subtraction. You subtract because the coefficients of x are all the same. So if you subtract, you get 5. We're subtracting now. 5y equals 15. Therefore, y equals 3. How do I figure out the x coordinate? You plug it back into one of these. Which one looks easier? Which one looks easier, people? Just pick one then. I don't care which one looks easier. Okay, plug it in there. So x plus 9 equals 19. Therefore, x equals, rhymes with 10. Therefore, the first and the third lines intersect at the point 10, 3. Now, how do you show that the second line goes through that point also? Here's the second line. See, this is the first and the third one, right? Here's the second line. 2x minus 5y equal 5. How do you show that this line goes through that point as well? You plug it in. If I plug in 10 for x and 3 for y, does that come out to 5? 20 minus 15, is that equal to 5?
Yeah. Yes.
Wait, one more step. Is 5 equal to 5? Yes. What are we dealing with here? What am I dealing with here? Okay, number 4 and 5, thank goodness you can do that. Number 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oh gosh. Number 6. Oh, happy day. Oh, this is a good problem. How many people got it? What did you guys do?
What's the question? Not like I got it, but
You like being stared at. If you use the midpoint formula, this is since we're talking about midpoints. Is the midpoint formula in the notes? Of course it is. Don't be ridiculous. Okay, now I'm not even sure if I'm drawing this correctly, but it doesn't matter because the picture is there just to help you solve the problem. Now, what problem are we doing? 6. D is the midpoint of AB, so here's D, 7, 3. E is the midpoint of BC, 10, 9. And then F is the midpoint of AC, which is 5, 5. So this picture, I guess no, it's not great, but it's okay. Find the coordinates of A, B, and C. Now, we don't know the coordinates of A. What do you want to call it? X1, Y1? A, B? Pick something. Happy face, sad face? Okay, let's just go with A and B. What do you want to call B? C and D. And let's call C, E, and F. Yes or no? Too late, I'm not going to change it. Now, if this is the midpoint of this segment, what equation can I write? How do you find the midpoint? And you got to know this on the SAT too, people. A plus C over 2 is equal to 7. That's how you find the midpoint. You take the average of the two. Okay, and then what about B plus D over 2 equals 3? Apply the midpoint to this point. So C plus E over 2 equals, rhymes with men. D plus F over 2 is equal to, rhymes with mine. Is that the only way you can get this? And finally, apply it over here. A plus E over 2 equals 5, and then B plus F over 2 equals 5. Did you guys at least write these 6 equations down? Now look, you got 3 equations, 3 variables over here, 3 equations, 3 variables over there, and then just solve them. Or is that the problem? We forgot how to solve 3 equations, 3 variables.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a quick review. In this class, you have to be able to solve 3 equations, 3 variables like in less than a minute, people. Okay, I'll do one of them. I'm not going to do both because they're both the same except different. So you want me to do the left one or the right one? Pick one and go with it.
Left.
Wrong! No. So A plus C equals 14. C plus E equal 20. A plus E equal 10. Do you see what I did? I multiplied everything by 2 so that I don't get fractions. Now, when you solve 3 equations, 3 variables, the first thing you want to do is eliminate one of the variables. So pick one. Either A, C, or E, people.
A.
Wrong! Okay, no, we can do A. Now, if I want to eliminate A, which 2 equations do I need to look at? You look at these 2. If I want to eliminate A, what do? Rhymes with subtract. You subtract those 2 and you get C minus E equal 4. Did I do that correctly? Of course, I'm the teacher. And then now you put that together with the second equation, C plus E equal 20. And then now you just simply have 2 equations, 2 variables, which is algebra 1. See, algebra 2, 3 equations, 3 variables, but your teacher taught you how to do that, right? Eliminate one of the variables, and then now you just have 2 equations, 2 variables. And now what? You can either add or subtract. Pick one. Wrong! No, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's have 2c equal 24. C equal 12. Oh, once I get c equals 12, where do I go? Plug it into one of these, pick one. You guys are always picking the wrong one. Pick one, top or bottom. Wrong! Nah, it doesn't matter. 12. 12 plus what equals 20? 8. Okay, now once you have these two, plug it back into one of these. So which one? Okay, here, 8. What plus 8 equals 10? 2. There you go. That's how you solve 3 equations, 3 variables. What's going on? This is algebra. Number 7. Oh, this is a good problem. How many people got it? Did you get it the good way or the slow way by writing equations? And the rest of you, what did you even try? Did you try distance formula, slope formula? But it just wasn't coming out. Okay, number 7. I know what problem to put on the quiz. I probably have a quiz. Are we having a quiz tomorrow or Wednesday? Wednesday. Okay. Thank you for telling me.
Tomorrow.
Well, if we had a quiz tomorrow, it wouldn't cover this, so that wouldn't be wise, would it? -3, 1. You wouldn't want a quiz on just one thing, right? That's for babies. 4, 3. Here's 4, 3. Now it says 3 vertices of our parallelogram have these coordinates. Find the coordinates of the 4th one. Now, before we even start, do you see that there's 3 answers? Yeah, Mr. Park, when I look at the bottom of the 3 answers, that's why. That's shameless! Well, no, just look at it. Like if I put a point over here, well, I guess it would be further down like that. Doesn't it form a parallelogram? But then, couldn't I put a point over here? And that would make a parallelogram too? But then, couldn't I also put the point over here? And then that would make a parallelogram too. So there's 3 answers. I will do one of them for you. Which one you want me to do? A, B, or C? I'm gonna pick the wrong one. It doesn't matter, just pick one, come on.
A.
Okay, A. Okay, so the point will be over here somewhere, yeah? It makes a parallelogram. So I don't know the coordinates of this point. Now, there's lots of things you can do. You can call this point like A comma B, and then you can say, oh, the distance from here to here got to equal to the distance from there to there, and the distance from there to there equals the distance from there to there, but then you got to solve equations. Or you can say the slope from here to here equals that slope, and then this slope got to equal that slope, and then you can solve those equations, but there's a good way. Look, to get from this point to this point, how much down and across do I have to go? Oh boy. Just look at the numbers. 1 down and 3 to the right. So therefore, if this is a parallelogram, to get from this point to this point, don't you have to go 1 down and 3 to the right? Because it's the same slope, right? And it's in both radical 10, right? So if this is 1 and 3, what are the coordinates of this point? If we go 1 down and 3 across. 0, 0, finished. Is that the way you guys did it? You wrote equations, but you got it though. See, you can do it writing equations for me. Okay, so I practice this method on like if the point was here and then if the point was there. And then number 8. Wait a minute, come on, this is algebra 1. 8. Find the value of k if this line. Okay, before we even start, let me just see what you guys learned from algebra 2. Just by looking at this equation of the line, what's the slope? Quick. 2 slope, 3. How did I get that so quickly? Now, probably your algebra 1 teacher told you, solve for y. Put it in the form y equal mx plus b, and then the coefficient of x is the slope. But that's the baby way. What did Mr. Takeisu teach you last year? If the line is written in this form, the slope is equal to negative a over b. That helps a lot, you know. So what is negative this over that? 3? Okay, anyway, and then the line joining this point to this point. Okay, how do you find the slope of the line going through these 2 points? Y minus y over x minus x. Hopefully we can do 3 minus 5 in our head. Can or no can? Okay, now, if you want the lines to be, if you want this line to be parallel to this line, then what can you say about the slopes? It rhymes with equal. They're equal. So then what would you set this equal to then? 3, right? Because they have to have the same slope if they're going to be parallel. And then in part B, if you want the two lines to be perpendicular, then the slope has to be the negative reciprocal of this. So in part B, instead of this being 3, you would make it equal to negative 1/3, because that's the negative reciprocal. And then those equations you just cross multiply, right? So what am I feeling here? Your algebra skills are rusty. Is that it? Don't worry, by the end of this chapter, you're going to be in shape. Or else. Or then, if you just simply do the homework, then you can't help it. Your algebra is just going to ameliorate. You like that word? What does that mean? Okay, we have a rhombus here. Negative 1, 1. No, negative 1, fool. 9, 4. 20, 6. Oh, that's way out here, baby. 20, 6. And then 10, 1. That's over here somewhere. 10, 1. This is forming a rhombus. So, find the area of this rhombus. Now, even if you didn't know anything, okay, what if you're in a Turkish prison? The only way you can get out is by finding the area of this rhombus. What would you do? Just stay there and rot until you die? No! Yes or no? Okay, if I draw that in, doesn't this make a triangle? Did we learn how to find the area of a triangle last week? Yeah, you can either use Heron's formula, or you could put the box around it, right? Remember that? So you could find the area of this triangle, and once you find the area of the triangle, you times it by 2, because these are two congruent triangles, right? So you could do that. I mean, do something. Some of you just like you're reading the problem and go, I don't know how to do that. How about try writing something down? No, I'm serious. In math, if you want to learn, you have to do. You cannot just sit there and listen. You gotta actually do. It's just like a musical instrument. Can you just listen to somebody and then you start playing? Like that? Mason? Do you even know what a musical instrument is? I don't even know. But there is a faster way. Let's review something from geometry. If you know the length of the two diagonals of a rhombus, then the area is equal to Takara?
Multiply the diagonals together in the diagonals.
There you go. 1/2 the product of the diagonals. That's from geometry. Does that look familiar? Oh, so Mr. Park, we gotta know geometry then. Duh. When you go to calculus next year, people, you gotta know everything. You gotta know mathematics. That's what you gotta know. Okay, so here we go. 1/2 the product of the diagonals. Okay, now, which diagonal you want to do? This one first? The shorter one? Okay, so how do you find the length of the diagonal? Just use the distance formula. So look, is it 1 and 3? Root 10. Okay, now this one. The difference of the x's is 21, and the difference of the y's is 7. 21 squared. Can I get my calculator? No, you can't. Come on, everybody knows their square numbers up to 25, right? 441. Okay, if you have to go on the side and be a baby and do this, then do it. How can we not know 21 squared is 441? That's what I want to know. What about 7 squared? At least we knew that one. 49, so add them up. Well, Mr. Park, I don't like it when I gotta carry. Then go home, cook rice. That's what I say. I'm just gonna stay here till we hear it. Root 490. Oh, and then, hey, that's just root 1/2 root 4,900. Hey, you somebody, huh? What's the square root of 4,900? You gotta do 70. Oh, 35. It's beautiful. People, you're gonna have to kick it up a notch. This is honors, people. As you will. If you want to get an easy A, then just go pre-calculus regular. You can probably fall asleep and get A's. Okay, today we gotta learn how to write equations of lines. We already know that, Mr. Park. You don't need to teach me that. Oh yeah? So what do you have to know today? You gotta be able to write an equation of a line. And then you have to find, how many people know this thing called science? How many people took chemistry already? Almost everybody. So when you did a chemistry lab, did you guys have to write best fit straight line? How did you do it? Huh? You just drew what you thought is the best fit.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm just wondering. So you see a bunch of points like this. What's the best fit straight line that goes through? Well, it's not like that. This is like the Stone Age. And what teacher is this? Tomiyasu? Fujinaka? Tuthill?
Everyone.
Just draw what you think it is. What if somebody says, I think it's this?
We have to have like.
Okay, I stopped listening already. That's just like barbaric. Okay, when you write an equation of a line, first of all, there's 4 forms that you should know. What's this first one? ax plus by plus c equals 0. This is called general form. It just looks pretty. Right? You make one side 0, throw everything else on the other side. And you hope. It just looks nice. We call it general form. Whenever you make one side 0, that's called general form. What about this? Algebra 1, we learned this. That's called slope-intercept form because that's the slope and that's the y-intercept, right? What about this? Y when y1 equals slope times x minus xy. Are you kidding me? This is called point slope form. You know how I know? I looked at the notes. Plus I took algebra 1. This is the slope and what's the point? Yeah, Mr. Park, what's the point? x1, y1. And then here's another form that students don't pay attention to much, although I know it's in your Algebra 2 book. I know it's there. You know why? Because every time I go to the bathroom, I take the Algebra 2 book in there to see what you learn. So I know you learned that. What form is this? Now some of you are probably saying, isn't that an ellipse? Some of you are thinking that. I know, because every year it's students. That's not an ellipse. If it had a square on it, that would be an ellipse. This is a line. This is called intercept form. That's because this is the x-intercept and that's the y-intercept. This is printed in your Algebra 2 book, people. Just like here, let me show you something. X over 3 plus y over 2 equals 1. Now, what if we're in a Turkish prison? Okay? The first person to draw that graph will get to go free. What would you do? What are you going to do? Change it to this form and then start graphing. No! What's the x-intercept? Look at this number. 3. What's the y-intercept? 2. Woo, finish. That's why intercept form is so useful. Why is it that this number is the x-intercept and that's the y-intercept? Well, why does that work? How do you find the x-intercept of any graph? What do? You set y equal to, rhymes with Miro. If I set y equal to 0, solve for x. Multiply both sides by 3 and you get? Oh, Mr. Park, that number is the x-intercept. No. Now what about the y-intercept? How do you find the y-intercept? You set x equal to 0, solve for y. 2. Oh, that's why it works, people. See, last year you guys just tried to memorize stuff, take the quiz and purge, right? That's what I heard. That's what some people told me over the summer. And now that's going to hurt you. There's no purging in this class. You learn it, you put it in the tool belt, and you use it the rest of the year. In fact, you're going to use it in calculus. In fact, you're going to use it in college until you finish your mathematical career. When is that going to be? When is the end of your math career going to be?
Never.
No. It comes to an end, people. Okay, for example, let's say Mr. Park, I want to go pre-med in college. In that case, you want to take BC calculus because once you take BC calculus, pretty much you're going to get a 5 and then that's it. You don't have to take any more math ever again. That's why you want to get into BC, people, because that's 2 semesters of college credit. AB is only 1. Anyway, isn't that why you're here? Part of the reason, because you guys want to go to BC, right? Which means, what do you need in this class to go to BC? Does anybody even know? Hole 1. Hole 2.
What's on A?
B.
B plus.
You guys know nothing. It's not even close. Okay, let's ask the 10th graders. Takara?
B minus.
There you go, B minus. It's no, it's not a B minus. It's actually 80% or higher. Because remember, I lower the bar, right? Remember I told you? 78.0 is actually a B minus in this class. Don't tell anybody. Because otherwise they're going to make you change it. So it's going to hurt you. So you have to get, not a B minus, you have to get 80.0, 79.9 not good enough. You got to get 80.0 for your final average. That's what gets you to BC. But see, actually before it used to be 85.0. This was about 10 years ago. But then, you know, Mrs. Goto, she teaches BC usually. Everybody was getting 5s in BC. So she said we were like too selective. So then we dropped it down to like 82%. But still, almost every, maybe just one person a year gets a 4 in BC. And so we were still too selective, so that now it's 80%. Who said A? Of course, everybody's going to get a 5 if you get an A. So all you need is an 80% in this class. You guys can do that, right? We'll find out at the end of this test, right? Okay, so what's the fastest way to write an equation of a line? Well, okay, first of all, what are the 2 things you need to write an equation of a line? You need a point. Okay, give me a point. 3, 2, and then you need a slope. Okay, give me a slope. Wrong, 4/5. Okay, what's the fastest way to write an equation of a line? Should I do general form? Point slope, slope intercept, intercept form? Now every year, there's always students trying to use these people. Yes, when you're in Algebra 1, when you first learn how to do it, you learn the baby way. But that's not the fastest, the most efficient. The most efficient is point slope form. Look, it's so easy. Watch this. Y minus 2 equal 4/5 times x minus 3. Finished. Whereas if you do the baby way, you gotta go y equal mx plus b. And how do I figure out b? You guys don't even know how to figure out b, so no further questions. You plug in that point. If I plug in 3 for x and 2 for y, what do you got? 2 equals 12/5 plus b. But 2 is 10/5, so therefore b is equal to negative 2/5. So therefore the equation of the line is y equal 4/5 x minus 2/5. Why do you want to do all that extra work when you can just write down the answer like that? Point slope is the fastest. Now in tonight's homework, you have to be able to find where 2 lines intersect, like you did on last night's homework, except now tonight's homework, you got to write the equation of the line. Okay, let's do an example then. Oh boy. Okay, let's give me some points. Here's a triangle. Give me some points. A, quick.
1, 1.
Wrong, 2, 1. B,
5/3.
wrong, 7, 3. And then C. You're afraid to say. How about 5, 6? Just make up something. I'm making up numbers here. Okay, now you have to know things about a triangle. In fact, wait, let me look at tonight's homework. Does somebody have it? Oh! Good thing I looked at the homework. You guys gotta know stuff, you know. Anytime you have a triangle, okay, do these 3 things sound familiar? Medians. You know what the median of a triangle is? What about the altitude of a triangle? And then what about the perpendicular bisector of the sides? Oh my goodness. Okay, if you have a triangle, it doesn't matter what triangle you have. What is a median? A median goes from the vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. That's called a median. You have to know this. Okay? How many medians does a triangle have? Rhymes with me. 3. And what did we learn in geometry? If I were to draw all 3 medians in, hey, what's that thing we learned in last night's homework? The 3 lines are concurrent. They all intersect at the same point. And what do we call that point? The centroid. That's like the balancing point. If you have like a triangular plate of uniform density, then you could balance the thing on your finger right there. Mr. Masunaga showed you that, right? That's the centroid. That's the intersection of the medians. You're going to have to find that tonight. So, tonight's homework, problem 1. I give you a triangle. What were the vertices? Hope it's not the same as this. Oh, no. Look, one of the vertices is 0, 0. That makes it so much easier. You guys better not screw up on that. Anyway, you're going to have to find the centroid. How do you find the centroid? You write the equation of 2 of the medians. No, don't you dare. Like, for example, how would you write the equation of this median right here? How would you do it? Since it goes from here to the midpoint, what would you do? Since that's the midpoint. You use the midpoint formula, which is 6, 9 halves. Then you have to write the equation of this line. How do you write the equation of the line? You need to find the slope. So what is the slope? Can we do this in our head? What is 9 halves minus 1? Yes, we can. 7 halves. And what is 6 minus 2? 4, so that comes out to 7/8, correct? So that's the slope of that line. So what's the equation of this line? Well, remember, you need a point and a slope. We got the slope. Which point would you rather use? The nice one or the ugly one? Okay, so just go y minus 1 equals 7/8 times x minus 2. That's the equation of this median. Okay, now you need another median. Which one you want to do? This one or that one? Pick one. Oh gosh, people. Okay, let's pick this one. Okay, what's the median? What's the coordinates of this midpoint? Quick. 9 halves, 2. You need to write the equation of that. We need to find the slope. So go y minus y. What is 6 minus 2? 4 over 5 minus 9 halves. 10 halves minus 9 halves. What? 10 halves minus 9 halves? 1 half. So that's equal to 8. The slope is 8. That means it's really steep. And at which point you want to use the nice one or the ugly one? The nice one. So y minus 6 is equal to 8 times x minus 5. So this is the equation of one median. This is the equation of the other one. Do I have to find this one also? No, because they all intersect at the same point. And then now just find where these two intersect. How would you do it if it's written in this form? What's the fastest way to find where they intersect? We're running out of time, people. We're in trouble. Are you joking me? How about solve for y in this equation? In other words, just move the 1 on this side and then substitute it in right there. Right? That's probably the easiest. Or, okay, I'm going to teach you something. Watch this. See, when I do problems, see, I'm teaching you this way because some of you are just befuddled, yeah? But here, this is the math team secret way. If the slope is 7/8, this is what I write. I write 7x minus 8y equals. Why did I write 7x minus 8y? Because the slope is negative a over b. Remember we talked about that? So if the slope is 7/8, you write 7x minus 8y, because negative a over b is 7/8. And then it has to pass through, what point? Which was the first one? Okay, this one. Plug in 2 for x, I want to do this in your head. Plug in 2 and 1 right there. Plug in 2. 14, plug in 1 there. 14 minus 8 equals, there you go, that's the equation of the first one. Oh. Okay, what else? Okay, let's do this other one. The slope is 8. What do I write? 8x minus 1y equals. And then which point do you want to use? That one or down? The nice one, of course, right? So plug in 5 and 6. Go. 8 times 5. 40 minus 6 is 34. There's the 2 lines. Why is that beneficial? Because now you can just use the addition-subtraction method to solve. Instead of over here, you're probably going to use substitution method. I mean, it's the same thing. I don't care how you do it, you got to do it. Okay, so that's problem 1A. You got to find the centroid. Then problem 1B, you got to find the orthocenter. What the heck is that? If you have a triangle, you guys know what an altitude is? An altitude goes from the vertex and it is perpendicular to the opposite side. It's called altitude. How many altitudes does a triangle have? 3. So if you were to draw all 3 altitudes, what do you know? What did we learn in geometry? That the 3 lines are concurrent at a point called the orthocenter. Right? Ortho. What does ortho mean? Perpendicular. That's what it means. Like, for example, orthodontist. Don't you want your teeth to grow perpendicular to your gum? No, I want it to go parallel to the gum. What about ortho plant food? You ever heard of that? You want your plants to grow perpendicular to the ground or parallel to the ground? Oh my God. And then, okay, we're running, oh gosh, we're in trouble. Okay, here's another triangle. Perpendicular bisector of the side. What does that mean, perpendicular bisector of the side? First of all, it's got to be perpendicular. And what does bisect mean? It's got to cut it in half. So, here's one side of the triangle. What is the perpendicular bisector of that side? First, you find the midpoint. Do we know how to find the midpoint? And then, do we know how to make perpendicular? Yeah. This is called the perpendicular bisector of a side. Now, how many of these does a triangle have? 3. So same thing here. Find the midpoint, make it perpendicular. Find the midpoint, make it perpendicular. And what did we learn in geometry? All 3 of these are concurrent at a point called the circumcenter. These are all names you heard from geometry, right? Why do we call this point the circumcenter? Because it's the center of the circumscribed circle. You can put a circle around it. Now is it all coming back like a bad dream? And in any triangle that you have, if you computed the centroid, the orthocenter, and the circumcenter, what would you notice about these 3 points? People, I looked at your worksheets from geometry. This problem is on there, you know. What did you notice about these 3 points? Because remember when you did the straight edge and the compass constructions? You had to do these 3 things using the compass. And then it said, what did you notice about these 3 points? All 3 of these points are collinear. They all lie on the same line. And what do we call this line? Mason? Euler's line. Named after the 4th greatest mathematician, Leonhard Euler. Now some of you are going, isn't that Euler? No, if you say Euler, you can be laughed out of the dormitories in college. He's a Swiss mathematician, Euler. 4th greatest of all time. Okay, now we're running out of time. The bell's going to ring in 2 minutes already. Okay, now, tonight's homework, you're going to have to write the equation of the best fit straight line. Except you're not going to just eyeball it. You're going to get the exact equation by using your graphic calculator. Now, we don't have time to do it in class, but I give you directions in the notes, okay? So if you have a TI, there's directions for that. If you have a Casio, then you read those directions. Okay? And you're going to get that problem on the next quiz. You're going to have to write the equation of the best fit straight line. So you better know how to do it on your calculator. And that's going to be very useful in science, whether you're taking chemistry or physics, because when you do labs, you have to write equations. See, how many of you are taking chemistry now? Okay, now, so when your teacher makes you do it by eyeballing, you laugh at them. You take out your graphic calculator. This is told me also, this is the exact one. We don't want the fake one, here's the exact one.
We're not supposed to use graphics.
I don't care. What do you want to be? You want to be in the Stone Age or you want to be in 2013? Okay, then hunt for your food. We're going to hunt together. All I can say then, to finish tonight's homework, you guys better look at the notes because there's another problem on there. You know, I'm not going to say anything. I just want to see how you perform on tonight's homework. Let's see, are you a sheep or a goat? Are you a sheep or a goat?